Hello there everybody, Sublime92 aka Nightmare, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. Last episode, we investigated the murder, the crime scene of the potential murder of the leader of the master. I forgot his fucking name, he's so forgettable. The owner of the security company. Got a little bit of information. Larry was being a butthead, and Gumshoe kept getting bullied for some reason, and I'm glad that I'm not in the minority. That there are others that I think one comment was talking about we need a spin-off game starring Detective Gumshoe, and I would support the fuck out of that. I want that more than anything. Even though I know that there's apparently a sub-series starring Miles Edgeworth, I would love nothing more than to have a game starring Detective Gumshoe. I'm sorry, Capcom, make it happen. But anyway, let's get this trial underway. Oh, by the way, as I stated, since I'm going to be going up against Godo, I've got, I don't know how many times he's going to gulp, so I brewed 2 cups of coffee. That means it's going to progressively get colder and colder as the day goes, because I, for some reason, didn't think, oh, I could just put it in my Yeti cup to keep it warm, but no, I'm just being a dumbass. So I got 2 blends. One is Arabica roast with a small amount of milk on top, mixed in with just like maybe a couple things of sugar. And the other one is just normal creamer, but I also had 3 mints on the bottom that I melted to try to make a bit of a peppermint kind of flavor.
Hey, Nick!
What is it this time?
You won't believe how many people are here for the trial.
Well, it is a murder case.
What are you talking about? They're here for the trial next door.
Next door?
Why don't you know this, Nick? They're having Detective Atmy's trial today.
At the same time that we're having this trial? Detective Atmy?
They say they're going to try him as mask to mask.
Already? That was fast.
Boy, I'd love to see Mask to Mask's trial today.
I know. By the way, where's Pearls?
Oh, she went back home. She said she can't neglect her training anymore.
Who is speaking? I know you don't like me. Pearls has really gotten into her training lately, huh?
Yeah, ever since that incident last year.
Please don't ignore me! Okay, so he was speaking.
Oh, Mr. Delight, good morning.
No one likes me. No one would notice me even if I killed someone.
Oh, come on, don't be silly. Wait a sec.
You don't mean you're the murderer? No, I'm just a poor thief. No, wait, that is not right. A thief can. Let's see. According to Mr. Delight, from his second crime on, he was following a bunch of set plans. Plans that someone had been sending to him to help him commit the heists. This is why I think he was in cahoots with Atmy.
And do you really think there's a connection between the thief and the murder, Nick?
It's possible, but today's trial is a race against the clock.
Huh? How come? Let's just take our time like always.
I'm afraid that's not an option. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. There's my fellow visor bro.
Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Ron Delight.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. You're ready? Preparation is the last refuge of the weak.
I agree. Okay, settle down, everyone. Let's begin with your opening statement, Mr. Godo.
He's got the judge in the palm of his hand. Yet again. Ron Delight is simply too young to be sent to war. That's all.
I'm afraid I have no idea what that means, Mr. Godo.
You need to get out more, Your Honor. Life is war, but that is exactly why you must be more precise in your wording.
Oh, coffee mancy.
Or coffee bending. Fuck it, he's one of those two. That's all my statement means. You understand now, right?
Yes. Well then, let me briefly summarize the details of this case.
Wow. The judge is taking charge like he knows what's going on for a change. That's a first.
The victim is Kane Bullard, CEO of KB Security.
Apparently, I'm not the only one that thought that this looked like a strangulation, but we know he's death by blunt force trauma.
His body was found in a safe at approximately 9 a.m. on the morning of the 13th. However, the time of death was estimated as 1 a.m. of the previous day.
And that's when our little lost kitten dropped the ball. That little lost kitten is, of course, the defendant.
Well then, I certainly didn't expect this to refer to him as a kitten, but whatever. Very well then, Mr. Godo. Please call your first witness.
Oh, give me a second. Alright, got my gulp in. I never drink more than 17 cups of coffee during any given trial. Godo. As a fellow coffee connoisseur, that might be a bit too much. The maximum I have done is at least 6 or 7 cups of coffee a day. And that's only during my days off. That would probably be the max, unless there was that time that I was in college, in which case that 6 was more... Are you a college student? Because that kind of seems like the amount of coffee that I drank whenever I was actually taking courses. But the first one is always the best. Abso-fucking-lutely. The first cup of coffee is usually the best, and everything else is just liquid being shoved down your throat. Unless you try to twist it up a little bit, which is why I've got 2 different blends here.
Mr. Godo, your witness?
Okay, hold up. Okay. Okay then. Let's hear what the defendant, Mr. Ron Delight, has to say for himself.
The defendant? Well, Mr. Wright, does the defense have any objections? It may be a bit of a disadvantage having the defendant testify, but...
I remember when Mia was defending me. She allowed me to testify so she could do the cross-examination. She put a lot of trust in me back then. Parallels. We have no objections, Your Honor. The defense will allow Mr. Delight to testify. Huh. You've got guts, try it.
All right then, Mr. Ron Delight, please take the stand.
Oh, goddammit, hold up. Oh, I'm gonna go to the bathroom after a while. You did it, didn't you?
Yes.
What? No! That's not true!
For a moment there, I thought we'd set the record for the shortest trial.
Oh my god.
Well, Mr. Delight already looks plenty guilty with the face he's making.
And once he opens his big mouth, he'll probably put the last nail in his own coffin. Huh. Very well. Now then, can you tell me something? If you didn't kill Bullard, why did you go to KB Security?
Well, that's kind of hard to say, but... Oh, boy, I wish I could go. Now then, let's hear some testimony about what happened.
Alright, here we go. Please, just tell us the truth, man.
That evening, around 1 a.m., I went to see Mr. Bullard in his office at KB Security. The blackmail letter I got, it ordered me to go there. I'd been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where his office was.
Okay, I actually got into a conversation with my buddy Ardith and a couple of other people about this, but I think that it's this. There's two things here. Usually, whenever somebody has a security card, like at my job, I have a security card that lets me go through certain doors. If I got fired, that card would have been deactivated. So why is it that whenever Ron Delight still had his card and it still worked despite the fact that he was fired? There's two explanations that I can come up with for this. One, it's a plot hole. But if I'm putting into context about this game, and with what I learned a little bit about KB Security, it could be a bit of a hypocritical company. They hired Larry Butts. Think about that for a second. They hired fucking Larry for a security position. Potentially, maybe as a way to, like, I don't know, maybe save money, or just kind of shows how far, like, Kane Bullard was in terms of maybe some, like, being, like, a bit of an arrogant kind of guy, that he could not care less if freaking Ron Delight's card still worked, because he really didn't think too much of Ron Delight at the time. So that's why I'm thinking the card was not deactivated. Because otherwise, it might just be a plot hole. But maybe that's just me thinking a bit too much on that. 1 a.m., the exact time the murder took place.
The weak get washed away by the tides of fate. The strong drink it up.
Oh, hold up. Sit.
It's bitter today, too. Just like my destiny.
You'd never know that from the way he's chugging it down.
I'm chugging mine down, too.
Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you please.
All right, here we go.
Hold it!
1 a.m., huh? You're absolutely sure about that?
Yes, that's what my watch said when I was entering the CEO's office. No. Actually, I'm not really sure. My watch was slow, and my internal clock was also.
1 a.m. That's the exact time the victim, Mr. Bullard, was murdered. Correct?
It's too late for a coffee date, that's for sure.
Coffee date? Can we have coffee date? Can we? Can we?
Hold it!
It ordered you there.
It was the first time I'd gotten a blackmail letter that ordered me to go somewhere.
Wait, does that mean you've gotten other blackmail letters then?
Oh, of course. They'd say things like, steal this, or take that.
Why did you save those for later, Mr. Delight? Please don't say any more. Now, what should do I do? What should... what should do I do? Me smart MIS. Yes. So what did the blackmail letter in question say?
It said to bring $50,000.
Money, eh? The perfect motive for committing murder.
Oh, but wait! I never intended to pay that money anyway.
Oh, is that right?
After all, he had nothing to hold over my head. I had nothing to be afraid of.
An important point indeed. Witness, let's have that added to your testimony.
Yes, sir.
Muddy Mud Skipper in outer space has a better chance of surviving than I do. What a weird thought, but I kind of agree with you.
The blackmail threat didn't scare me. It wasn't going to cause me trouble or anything.
Just what were you being blackmailed about anyway?
The blackmail letter said, if you don't want your identity revealed, correct?
I'm sure it was referring to the whole mask the mosque thing. But I wasn't worried. Mr. Bullard did not have anything on me.
He didn't?
Anyway, I don't care what anyone says about me. Just as long as Desi believes in me.
So that's why Miss Delight didn't believe he was masked in the mosque.
That's why I knew they were just hollow threats.
Okay. You used to be a security chief for KB Security, right?
Yes, that's right.
A security chief? You?
And yet, a year ago you were fired without notice. Revenge for an old grudge. A perfect motive for murder, wouldn't you say?
This isn't good. Maybe we should change the subject.
Actually, yeah. Do you know why you were fired? I mean, why? I don't think that's really important, but why were you fired? Mr. Delight, please tell us why you were fired from your job.
Well,
The world is filled with those who have said, I wish I'd never asked that.
Okay, then I take it back. Defendant, please answer the question.
I needed money.
You needed money?
Well, you see, Desi loves to spend it. It's a kind of her hobby.
Not exactly the best hobby in the world, huh, Nick?
Yeah.
My salary wasn't nearly enough. So, I stole data from the company.
You what? Come again?
KB Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies. And since I was a security team chief,
You stole some data and sold it.
Mr. Ballard found out and I was fired immediately.
That is... Wow. What? Oh, I wish I'd never asked that.
I was somehow able to keep it secret and made it seem like I had quit on my own.
What is it, Nick? You don't look so good.
Someone who brings harm to their company is fired as punishment. You do well to remember that.
Well, I sure told you.
So you admit that you stole data from your company, is that correct?
How the fuck did he get...
Is there any information about the person that he sold it to?
Yes, I'm sorry.
This is a very important fact. Please add it to your testimony. Man, this whole thing just took a big turn for the worse. Crashed and blew up. It's gonna take the jaws of life to rip this case from the clutches of disaster.
He fired me for selling company secrets, but Desi doesn't know about that.
Why would you do something like that?
Well, for Desi's hobby. What else?
Ooh, wasting money, huh? It's not a waste!
So Miss Delight doesn't know that her husband was fired, does she?
So it would seem.
I'm not sure what to think about couples who keep secrets like that from each other.
Yeah, I try to keep very open with my girlfriend. I can't believe it. This case has even gotten even Mai to think seriously about couples. Oh god, don't let Pearls know. She's gonna ship us even harder. Please try to stay focused, Mr. Wright. I don't care about your love life. How do you even know about this?
There wasn't much to his testimony, was there?
Sounds like he's avoiding something. At least, that's what it sounds like to me.
Oh, I've got a bad feeling about this.
We better be careful. But if we don't find a way to make him spill the beans, we'll never get closer to the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're back to here. Okay, so let me examine this. Then around 1 a.m. I want to see Mr. Bowen. The blackmail letter I got, it remained there. The blackmail letter threat didn't scare me. It wasn't going to cause me trouble or anything. I feel like this is the one that we're going to have to come across with, but how do we... Let me see. What counters this? The blackmail threat didn't scare me. It wasn't going to cause me trouble or anything. But wasn't this the... Hold on. Try to be revealed to the world comes... Okay. I think I've already got it figured out. Okay. The threat of the letter was, we don't want your identity to be threatened around. Or sorry. You know what I mean. So... Who would this really affect? It would obviously affect Ron. But... Oh! Oh, I know how this will work! Adrian! I'm sorry, Desiree. Why the fuck did I think Adrian? I'm a fucking idiot. Adrian? Why'd you confuse me? So... Okay. See, this makes sense here. If we... Okay, so... Okay, That's probably what he's afraid of. He doesn't want Desi to know that he's a criminal. Because if she found out, she'd probably hate him.
Objection!
And I was right. Mr. Delight, what you said just now doesn't match what you told me yesterday.
Huh? What doesn't?
I think you must have been scared. Very scared. Of having a certain person find out your secret. A certain person? Miss Desiree Delight, the defendant's wife.
But listen to me, my Desi, she's...
Looks like if I just sit back and relax, the fun will end before it truly begins.
Kodo!
Yes, we know. It was all your wife's fault.
What do you mean?
Mr. Delight stole company data to pay for his wife's spending habit, for which he was fired. Unable to face his own wife, someone used his dirty little secret to blackmail him. And that is how this murder came about.
Oh.
No! Everything's falling neatly into place for him. Don't talk about my Desi like that! Or you'll be sorry!
Well, it seems that we've learned a great deal of things here so far. What do you think, Nick? I think I'm about to shit myself. I didn't think it was possible to get so thoroughly whipped in just 20 minutes. Has it really been 20 minutes? It's been almost 30. Goddamn. Clearly there was sufficient motive for murder. He stole data for his wife, and he killed to protect his secret. The family man who cared just a little too much. Oh, hold up. Oh, I got my cup ready. I'm just waiting for him to sip.
The motive is clear. Let's move on.
Oh, thank God.
What happened at the crime scene at 1 in the morning, Mr. Delight? Come now! Tell us! We're all ears.
Okay. I was prepared for another gulp. Wait. Oh no. I'm like halfway through this coffee cup and I've only got one cup left. Oh boy.
When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there.
Oh, by the way, I want to make sure that I'm correct on this, but somebody told me that silhouette was a little bit blurred in the initial release, I believe. Let me see if I can find that, because... Yeah, Fire Phantom 105. So fun fact about the Atme silhouette. In the original DS version, the silhouette had a blur effect applied to make it more vague. This blur effect didn't show up on emulators, though, so most players probably don't know about this. Interesting. Huh. I kind of want to look that up now. Just like out of simple curiosity.
Suddenly, I was hit on the forehead. After that, I remember being a bit dazed. If I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed. When I came to, Mr. Ballard was lying there, dead.
I see. Suddenly hit on the forehead, huh? I believe the detective from yesterday provided similar testimony. He said that Masked Demask struck him on the head from behind. Of course, since Atme turned out to be the culprit himself, that was all a lie.
Huh. No one's going to believe a pathetic lie like that.
What are you saying? I really was attacked!
We'll find out if what you say is true or not during the cross-examination.
Got that, Mr. Wright? Don't go easy just because he's your client. If I see any sign that you are, I'll treat you to another cup of my special blend.
You don't need to worry about that, Mr. Godo. I have faith in Ron. I know he didn't do it. Okay. Let's go, buddy.
Hold it!
Who was this suspicious shadow?
If there were 1,000 of me, and if even one knew, I'd tell you. Trust me.
His dodging all of our questions is not helping us win this case.
Okay, then how was the victim Mr. Bullard at the time?
What do you mean by how was he?
Was he already dead? Was he still alive? Maybe he was the one who hit you in the first place.
That's a good question. What do you think, Mr. Wright?
Forget it. Oh my god, dude. Your forehead.
Yes, I was hit on the forehead as soon as I entered the room. It was an amazingly fast and powerful attack.
Do you remember anything about who hit you?
Well, like I said, it was a fast and powerful hit. So I think I was a little dazed for a while.
I don't think Mr. Delight even grasped what you were asking.
Yeah. I'd like to show him a fast and powerful attack myself. Maybe that would knock some sense back into him. Maybe. Maybe. Never know. But we're in a court of law. I'm pretty sure I'd get in trouble. That? Could you please clarify what you're referring to? The mask?
Why, my mask, the mask costume, of course.
Is that thing like really made of metal?
Wait just a moment. Mask the mask? Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? Just to be on the safe side, I dressed as Mask the Mask. And then I descended upon the office of the CEO of KB Security. What?
Nick, did you know about this? He never told me this.
I don't recall him ever mentioning it to me either.
Even I didn't know that. It seems our little friend really loves to keep secrets.
Oh, by the way, Godo, I know a really good method to keep your visor from smoking. It's actually quite good. I have a very good solution that might help you out. So we'll talk about that after the trial.
I'm sorry, I just never had the chance to mention it up until now. Wait, that's not right. You know how sometimes things just...
Huh. My sixth cup of coffee is staring up at me coldly.
I'm still on my first one, dude.
At any rate, we can't ignore this new piece of information. Witness, please correct your testimony.
I'd have been killed if I hadn't been wearing my Mask the Mask costume.
You're still wearing it, but you're missing two things. The mask and the clasp thing. Why were you dressed up as Mask the Mask?
Why? Because I'm Mask the Mask, of course.
What are you talking about? Mask the Mask's trial is being held next door.
Yes, I guess so. Anyway, at that time, I thought I was being blackmailed over the Mask the Mask issue. So I thought I should go as him, just to be safe.
Oh boy.
Let me tell you, it's a real pain to move around with that cape. How dare you diss the cape? That's why it took a lot longer than I'd expected.
A lot longer? It took a lot longer. What's he talking about? What do you mean by took a lot longer?
Oh, opening the safe, of course. My cape got caught on the safe door, you see. This all happened when I was hiding Mr. Bullard's body.
Wait, what was that? Back up a second. What the fuck?
Yes?
You were the one that hid the body in the safe?
Well, yeah?
Inconceivable! Why? Just why? What reason could you have? What were you thinking? Oh, wait.
Question. When does someone toss their dirty shorts in the washing machine?
Usually around like 12 or... Wait a minute, what? What does that have to do with this? What?
The answer is simple. Oh. The answer is simple. When they take them off.
As usual, I have no idea what you're saying. Do you mean that Mr. Delight hid the body because he's the murderer?
So you're not as stupid as you look.
I would say pot meat kettle, but you have a visor, so I have to offer you some respect.
His metaphor this time was really obscure.
Mr. Wright, you don't mean that you knew about this whole safe business, do you?
Well...
Yes.
Why am I the only one not in the loop here? Witness! Make sure you add this to your testimony. Yes, sir.
Oh, the storm front is moving in over the fair weather judge. Fair weather?
I panicked and hid the body in the safe. It took about 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Why did you hide the body in the safe anyway? Well, because it wouldn't fit in the drawer.
What? Are you telling me you tried hiding the You know what? Never mind.
That's not exactly what I meant.
When I saw that corpse, I kind of lost it. I thought, if they find his corpse, they'll think I did it.
I think you had a simpler reason than that. That's because you killed him! That's why you spent 10 minutes hiding the body.
That certainly makes more sense.
Hold on. 10 minutes? Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me refer to all of my stuff here. Let's see. Still directed by blackmail letters. It went off at once at 1:02 a.m. on October 12th in the sea. 1:02 a.m. Okay. Time of death, 10:12 at 1 a.m. 10 cerebral hemorrhaging. Night of the crime at 1 a.m. 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
What is it, Nick?
I just had a thought. Under those circumstances, would you normally try to hide the body? And spend 10 whole minutes to do it?
Under those circumstances.
What's... Oh! The alarm. Yeah. That makes no sense. Because the alarm went off at... Oh, wait. Where did it say that the alarm went off? The buzzer went off at 1:02 a.m. If he died approximately around 1 o'clock, and it took him 10 minutes to put it in the... Oh. Wait. Should I present the buzzer record, or... I think the buzzer record is probably what I should do.
Hey, Nick, if you think his behavior was so strange, why don't you present some evidence that would show just what those circumstances were?
That's it! I'll take a look at the court record and present some evidence.
We heard this from Mr. Delight yesterday, didn't we?
There's not much in his testimony yet, either.
I bet you he's still hiding something.
I wouldn't be surprised. Was to draw it out of him.
I just hope he doesn't make things any more complicated.
Okay, I know what to do here. They're dead. I panicked and hid the body in the safe. It took about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. That... I think this is what I have to do.
Objection!
Your Honor, could you please take a look at this record? And what might this be? The record for the emergency buzzer that connects the CEO's office to security. If the button in the office is pressed, a security team is supposed to come running. And according to this record, the buzzer was pushed once at 1:02 a.m. What? What? If Mr. Ron Delight truly was the murderer, he would have ran as soon as that buzzer sounded. After all, a security guard would have been heading his way.
Objection! Huh. Let's remember who we're dealing with here. He probably had no idea that there were security personnel in the building.
Objection!
Up until 1 year ago, my client was working as a chief of security. There's no way he wouldn't have known about them.
Objection! I can object your objection. But, as it turns out, the guard never came.
That was nothing more than a coincidence. The fact that the guard was a pathetic loser,
What the fuck, man?
who had just gotten punched in the face by his ex's new boyfriend, and wasn't anywhere in the vicinity, was not something Mr. Delight could have known.
Objection! I'm going to continuously object you. Again, remember who we're dealing with here. It's a sure bet that Mr. Delight didn't even notice the buzzer going off.
No! This buzzer was extremely loud. There's no way he could have ignored something like that. If he had been conscious, that is. Conscious? What do you mean by that? Oh, drink.
Fine. Let's hear your theory.
I'm having way too much fun with Godo, honestly. Also because I get to do a variation of my favorite voice to do. Recall the defendant's testimony. The moment he entered the victim's office, someone attacked him. Mr. Delight said he felt dazed. I'm willing to wager that he was knocked unconscious for at least a few minutes. Unconscious? So he fainted? That's why Mr. Delight didn't know that the buzzer had sounded. And that's why he thought he had time to hide the body.
So what are you trying to say?
Mr. Delight was knocked out, and the buzzer went off soon afterwards. Now, unless my client was able to hit the buzzer while he was unconscious, he ain't no Zenitsu. It can only mean that there was another person in that room. That's right. Whoever it was, they knocked out Ron Delight and then pressed the buzzer. Order in the court! Mr. Wright, this is...
Objection! This is preposterous. It was this kid. Ron Delight is the one who killed Kane Ballard.
Objection! Then who pressed the buzzer?
It was the victim, of course. He pressed the buzzer when the defendant attacked him. He didn't die right away. He must have held on long enough to push that button.
So Kane Ballard sounded the buzzer himself. And what is your opinion on this, Mr. Wright? I need to prove that the real criminal was there at the scene, but how? Hold on. Autopsy report. Where the hell's the autopsy report? Cerebral hemorrhaging from blunt trauma to the head. Okay, time of death, 1:02 a.m. Is there anything else that I can use here? But there's no fingerprints on it. He wasn't wearing gloves. Can I prove that it wasn't Kane Ballard who sounded the buzzer? Yeah, I can prove it right away. All right. The defense's opinion is this, Your Honor. This piece of evidence proves that it wasn't the victim who sounded the buzzer. Take that! I believe this is the piece of incontrovertible evidence you were looking for. The emergency buzzer? Is there some kind of clue on it? Absolutely not!
Come on now. At least give some thought to what you say before opening your mouth.
The fact that there are absolutely no clues is itself the clue. Okay, now I'm the one who's clueless. This button has no fingerprints on it. If Mr. Ballard had really pressed it himself, naturally, he would have left his fingerprints behind. I am not doing that.
Ron Delight obviously wiped them off.
Why would he? A guard could have come in at any moment.
He touched that button. I know he did.
The defendant, Mr. Delight, was dressed as Mask Damask. And Mask Damask always wears gloves. What reason could he have possibly had to wipe the button free of fingerprints? Order! Order, for God's sake, order!
It would seem.
Oh, drink.
been forced to eat crow.
I wonder what blend number crow-flavored coffee is.
Go to blend number 106.
However, if the real killer was there at the scene, why would that person press the emergency buzzer?
To pin it on Ron?
Shouldn't they have run away without putting themselves in extra danger? What's with this awkward silence all of a sudden?
It looks like you're fresh out of parlor tricks.
They're on to you, Nick.
Just give me a minute to collect my thoughts. The real culprit killed Mr. Bullard at around 1 a.m.
And Mr. Delight just happened to waltz in when the murder was taking place. Right?
The killer clobbered... Oh my god! The killer clobbered Mr. Delight and then sounded the buzzer. Holy shit. That... Oh my god, okay.
Even though security was supposed to respond right away if the buzzer was pressed.
Security was supposed to respond. I think I've got an idea.
Time's up, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you have to say.
Very well then.
Oh, you've got some guts. I like that in an opponent.
Why did the real killer sound the emergency buzzer?
Well, to call the security guard, because they were going to try to implicate Ron. The killer knew that if they pressed that button, a guard would come running. And that was exactly what they wanted.
Do you mean to say the killer called the guard on purpose?
Yes. Although, as it turned out, he never showed up.
Because he was getting his clock cleaned at the time.
I think there's about 2 sips left in this coffee, then I'm going to have to go to the second cup.
What a touching story. You're saying the killer had a change of heart and called the guard to turn himself in?
No. No, I'm not. When that buzzer sounded, there were 3 people in that office. The victim, Kane Bullard, who was already dead. The defendant, Ron Delight, who was out cold. And the third person, the real killer.
Hypothetically, yes.
Now then, in this situation, if the real killer made an escape, what would happen? The only ones left in the room would be the victim and Ron Delight.
And if any security guards came running in at that time, they would think that I was the murderer.
Yes, that was precisely the real killer's objective. To frame Ron Delight for the murder. Oh, wait, hold up. Okay, I'm not doing that right after a sip. God, that actually kind of hurt.
Order! Order! Order!
It would seem.
God damn it. Okay. Okay. The first coffee done. Oh boy. Okay.
I've been made to eat my words once again.
Actually, you've been made to do a spit take. With a cup of coffee.
Mr. Wright, who was it? Who was it that tried to frame me? Wait a second. I'm the one and only masked the masks.
Nick, you mean the real killer is...
Look at me. But how would I prove it? We're going to drag that person here right now.
But who is it?
I don't have any solid proof yet, but think about it. The killer knew Mr. Delight's identity, and they also knew that he had been called to KB Security that night. They also had to have known that he was working with KB Security. So the killer used him to execute a well-crafted plan to murder Kane Bullard.
Now then,
Let's hear your accusation, Mr. Wright. Who was it that framed Mr. Rondelite for the murder of Cain Bullard? There's only one person who could have done it. Look at me.
Take that!
He's the only person. Detective, look at me. He's the only one who could have done it.
Ace Detective.
Look at me.
You mean Mask DeMosque did it? Your Honor, the person being tried in the court next to us is not Mask DeMosque at all. He is, in actuality, the true murderer of Cain Bullard.
Order! Order, for God's sake, Mr. Wright. Explain yourself.
Theft and murder. Which is the more serious crime?
Well, I mean, they're not even close. Murder is the more serious crime, of course. It's a capital crime subject to a capital punishment.
Please remember the trial from yesterday, if you would. When Look at Me confessed, there was a huge commotion in the courtroom.
Of course, the famous detective was unmasked as, well, as Mask DeMosque.
Instead of being convicted of murder, he was found guilty of grand larceny. That was his true objective all along.
To be found guilty?
Mask DeMosque had the perfect alibi for when the murder took place. Yep, he was stealing the urn at Lordly Taylor. In other words, being found guilty as Mask DeMosque was Look at Me's airtight, watertight, and unassailable alibi.
A guilty verdict.
As an alibi? Gotta admit, that's kinda genius. Damn.
You know, it's almost time.
For what?
Adventure time. Sorry, I like that show. For Look at Me's verdict. It was a pretty simple trial, after all. If we're going to stop this trial and stall that one, we need to do it now. Of course, that's assuming you have proof that the detective was the one who committed the murder.
Mr. Look at Me's trial has indeed attracted the attention of the entire country. If we were to intrude and fail to provide adequate proof of his true crime, Mr. Delight would be left with no grounds for appeal.
Am I really sure about this? Well, what evidence do I have that can prove that Look at Me was... I looked at the wrong photo. Sure about this?
Huh. The bet's only good when your life's the ante.
Mr. Wright, I believe in you.
Mr. Delight.
So, please. I'm begging you.
Thanks, but my decision will determine the rest of your life. Can I really risk your life like this? Phoenix? Mia? What was that? Don't stray, Phoenix. For your client, take the path of trust. I'm a defense attorney. It's my job. That voice. It sounds like... Mia! Your Honor! The defense requests an immediate recess!
So that's your answer, huh?
Very well. I've decided as well. This court will now take a 20-minute recess. Mr. Wright, when we return, please summon Mr. Look at Me to the stand. Yes, Your Honor. Okay. October 14th, 11:58 a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 5. Oh my god. Well, Sir Detective Atme. Hi, Winston. I have to say, Mr. Payne, you performed splendidly. Oh no, Sir Detective Atme. You were the one. I was not prepared for another... You still have a glorious beard, my good sir, but you look significantly younger than ordinary Judge Man. What the fuck do I was not prepared for... I've only ever known one judge. What do I do? Oh boy, God, you seem like more of a... I'm under the assumption that all judges are just incompetent, so... That is enough. This court sees no reason to further prolong this trial. This court finds the defendant Look at Me.
Hold it! Wait! Don't hand down your verdict yet!
Well, Sir Lawyer. Welcome to my courtroom. Who's this oser, eh?
The fuck you call me? My name is Phoenix Wright, attorney at law. And I wish to file an accusation against this man. Look at me.
The accusation? You accuse Master Mask?
That man is not Mask the Mask. He's just a ruthless murderer. What? That face. That fucking face.
Gotcha, bitch.
Oh. Oh. Huh.